Divine greetings. Oh my goodness. Beautiful kings and queens, friends and family joining us today. I have a very special guest coming all the way from Belize, my very dear friend, Dr. Cornelio Marfield, who will be joining us today and will be sharing about so many different things. We've been speaking, him and I, for quite a while now, and we just realize our love for health, our love for helping people through this natural lifestyle. And I'm so honored that he accepted to come and speak with us today. So you're in for a special treat because he is a wealth of not only knowledge and information, but also inspiration and spiritual spiritual wisdom that comes from the Most High. So when he described himself, I asked him to describe himself. He says, I am a naturopathic doctor and a child of the Most High. And I thought that was really beautiful because, God comes first. God comes first. God has been leading his way. He is in full surrender to the Most High and really doing beautiful work in Belize and in the world, because he has patients, friends, family all over the world who have been following him, who have been inspired by him. So such a powerful man right here. And it is such an honor to welcome you today. And I can't wait to, first of all, hear a little bit more about your journey and what brought you to, where you are today, what inspired you. And then we're going to go a little bit more into the health benefits of some of the fruits that have been literally changing our lives and changing the lives of so many people. So without further ado, welcome Dr. Marfield, Angel Marfield, Angel Dr. Marfield. Such an honor.
Thank you, daughter of the Most High. Great respect and love for you. Indeed, it's a privilege, it's a pleasure to share. The truth is, before I became a doctor, I was an educator. I taught for many years at the high school, sixth form, and some work at the university. And they say once a teacher, always a teacher, once an educator, always an educator. So the truth is, I love education. And so this show is about educate, educate, educate. I think somewhere I put up once on my Facebook, if you think knowledge is expensive, try ignorance.
Oof.
If you think knowledge is expensive, try ignorance. And people, the good book says people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. So, to be an instrument to share the wisdom of the Almighty and what he has trained and given us to do for such a time like this is such a privilege. I'm so honored. I'm so happy. I'm so pleased and I'm so welcome. So thank you for inviting me, my dear sister and friend and health advocate. And I see a lot of what we are doing impacting people's life even now. And so I would like this to continue. I'm looking forward to sharing the knowledge. And this goes all the way to childhood. Growing up, I grew up in a very simple, humble way. And we didn't have all the luxuries of life. So we had to go and get what was in the backyard, fever grass tea, serosity, the basic things that exist around us in nature. And I think that humble beginning of my life have really shaped me into the doctor that I am, a naturopath. And what we are taught, like all other doctors, is first do no harm. And the best way not to harm the body is not to put toxins in your body and to take them out. And the food is indeed our meds, as we are emphasizing today, because the food, the herbs, these things that are in nature, were there from King Hatchet was a hammer, they would say, and has served its purpose through empires who have rise and fall and still exist to this day to help humanity. And so I have seen many family members got sick, died, unfortunately, prematurely, including my dad. I remember my journey towards transitioning from being an educator to now going getting trained to be a doctor. My wake-up call was when I saw my doctor. We didn't really have the best of relationship because he was not necessarily at home, but he's my father. He brought me into this world. I had respect for him. And when he was on his dying bed, dying from cancer, he lost about 80 pounds in 1 month. It blew my mind one day when I went to the hospital and I lifted up his shirt and I just saw all his ribs. And like, this was a little short, thick guy. To lose so much weight in such quick time, and cancer ravaged his body from his colon right up to his lungs. He was a smoker, he was a heavy drinker, so that only caused more problem. He had cirrhosis of the liver already. So I recognized that was imminent, unfortunately. And that was like, I went home thinking that, you know, I need to do something. And there are a lot of other experiences that I saw from hospital settings that opened my eye. I have family members who almost died back then. And even now, I have a cousin just recently died from diabetic renal failure. And I said, you know what? To whom much is given, much is required. And that's a thought for this year for me. God has blessed us with so much wisdom. Why not share these things with people? So again, if you think knowledge is expensive, try ignorance. And here's another one. If you think health is expensive, try sickness. Mm-hmm. So that's my journey, Aline. I mean, I'm really happy that we can share today. I'm really inspired, motivated, and all revved up to disseminate information right now. So thanks again for inviting me. Such timely, it's such time. It's such a timely manner.
Absolutely. The honor is all mine. I'm deeply sorry for what you went through in your life, and seeing those around you pass in such ways. You know, there's a lot of pain, and there's also a lot of rage, right? There's like this anger inside when we see this happening, that we almost can feel powerless, right? We almost can feel like, oh, what am I to do? And
right.
But you had something in you light up a fire, right? And I see this as your big why. You know, a lot in when I support people through their journeys, I say, what's your why? What's your main motivation? What's your driving force behind what you do every day? And this, I feel, is your why, right? Like, you suffered so much from it, and often we serve from our place of deepest pain. So from that place of pain, you saw solutions where a lot would continue with let's say the narrative or the programming, especially in the medical fields, seeing things a certain way, and they kind of stay stuck, right, with this like paradigm of pharmaceuticals, and let's not say the other word, but those, and like anything to put into the body that's really not really supporting the body in a way. But you went a whole other path where, the path of detoxification and cleaning, the more natural path. You talk about like in your garden, going and getting the herbs from nature. That's the way we need to return to. Really intuitively, we know what's good for us, but I feel like we've been disconnected on purpose, and we've forgotten these natural medicines. So I love how you are helping other people, and from this place of deep and pain. So yeah, I just admire you so much for doing that, and turning your life around and being in service to the Most High and to other people, helping them remember the true meaning of health, because we don't really know what that means. And sometimes even when we think we're doing okay, we think we don't have any symptoms, or, we kind of let this pass and let that pass. We don't fully know how good we could feel if we tried a different way as well. If we tried to truly give ourselves the chance to experience a different feeling. So what would you say is people's biggest challenge in making changes, and what you have seen? What are people facing the most, struggle with, or like, because everybody could be like, okay, I would just want to change, I'm just going to change. But why do you think it's not so simple to make those changes? And
that's a very, very, very good question, and I appreciate the words of wisdom just now to share. I don't know if you're familiar with the word Picada Road, but in Belize, we have little Picada roads. They're like little roads. And normally before a Picada Road is made, you have a lot of bushes around. So you got to cut through the bushes to make this little road to go from point A to point B. The natural tendency is, once I have made a Picada Road, if I go back tomorrow to the same place, I tend to want to walk through the same Picada Road. I will not probably make another road. I'm saying that to say this: we are creatures of habits. And I think that is the greatest challenge we have. We are programmed in such a way that it's so hard to change, because when we get comfortable, and it might be a bad comfort, we are so comfortable in a certain mindset, in a certain way of living, that lifestyle is so hard to change sometimes because we have been doing it for years. For example, I can testify to my own challenges. I still struggle with sweets because this is how I grew up too. The fever grass I also had in sugar. The flower lab had a lot of condensed milk, you know, and so you are dealing with years of training my taste bud. And that's why detoxification is so important. Like everything else, when I was an alcoholic, I mean, I had to go through a process of detoxifying my body before I can get off that, because it is, you are so used to and accustomed to looking forward to whatever will give you this high. Like I said to you one day, there's no high like the Most High. And I sincerely believe that there is no high like the Most High. And so once you, and maybe a lot of this start with the Almighty too. And I think he makes it more easier for us, you know. The good book says we can do all things through him. We struggle because we are human beings. We will struggle. Even the greatest apostle in the Bible says he fought a good fight, you know. Obviously, if you are fighting a good fight, when you're in Holyfield and Mike Tyson, the fight, you know, you watch a fight, you know it's about defense and offense, and you would do anything to stand strong. You just don't, it's not an easy battle. That's what I'm trying to say. So I think that's the greatest challenge. We are creatures of habit, and unfortunately, like, this is a good forum to use the multimedia, but many times we are mesmerized and hypnotized and deceived by what we see on the television and on other areas. So this food and that food and certain things, and we're told you could still eat what you love, you have your lover's food, but we are not solving the problems. And then what we do, we patch up with pharmaceuticals when we get sick, and we are not getting to the root of the problem to make paradigm shifts that are necessary to promote good health and healthful living. So I would say that's the greatest challenge I face, which means it starts in the mind. It's a psychological warfare, many times emotional and spiritual issues you have to break through first, even before we can change the whole appetite and stuff. So I think I see that as the greatest challenge. People want to change, and sometimes they need help. And I guess program like these hopefully will assist and motivate them.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. That's a beautiful answer, so filled with depth. And I love how you say there's no high like the Most High. But at some point, we are getting high from these other foods, right? We are getting some kind of stimulation from those foods. So it's important to, like you said, to cleanse, to detoxify, so that we can get to a point where we do feel high naturally, you know. And I appreciate you sharing about your history with alcohol as well, because there's no going around the withdrawal, you know. There's no going around that situation where we're going to be missing something. But once we get to the other side, just like anything, you know, just like a sugar addiction or a salt addiction, once we get to the other side, life is so much better, so much better. And even if we do go back and we come back out and we go back out, like, it's okay. But at least we keep working towards that goal. You know, it doesn't matter how many times it takes us to get there, but we have to keep our eye on the prize, keep our eye on the vision. You know, some people are, you know, being told that they have to go for surgery, they have to, you know, go for chemotherapy, and I'll do all these interventions that are really not helpful or safe long term. And if that's their, you know, motivating why, to save their life, to have more, you know, years with their children, then, you know, follow us, follow Dr. Cornelio, you know, follow me. Like we are examples of people that are doing it, you know, everyday life. And sometimes that's all we need to see somebody doing it, having hope, and seeing that it's possible. You know, I too had a lot of different health issues, from, you know, digestive issues. I had cystic acne, I had depression, anxiety. Doctors told me I was going to be on antidepressants my whole life. I was like, this is not going to be my life. I was on the antidepressants for a long time. I took a lot of pharmaceuticals in my days, and I was like, there has to be another way. You know, something inside me felt like there has to be another way. And I devoted my life to finding those ways and healing myself first. That's what happens, right? We heal ourselves and then we help other people find the way too. So amazing.
Beautiful story. Beautiful story. I like it. I love
Yeah.
it.
It's about
I-
taking our power back, you know,
right.
and real doctors should be helping people take their power, you know, and heal themselves. Real healers of the world. And that's what I want to see more of, is people empowering each other. But it's like, you know, it's just such a system.
Right.
And I think a lot of people are waking up. You know, I really admire, you know, doctors like you who are truly committed to helping people. And there's also the physicians, the association. Oh my God, I'm going to say it wrong, but I'm having a blank.
Okay.
The Physicians for Responsible Medicine in the United States. It's like an association of different doctors who come together, and they're all plant-based, and they're helping people, you know, through diet first.
That's
Like
awesome.
that should be it,
Awesomeness.
right? Food is medicine.
Yeah.
Medicine is food. So
Love
before
it.
we go to I think that the allopathic medicine should be considered the alternative medicine. This should be the first medicine.
Well, it started from creation, where all things started.
Yes.
So, you know, we are not 100 years old. We are 6,000 years plus old. You know, from King Hatchet was a hammer. I say this has been around. The
Yes.
Romans Empire, the Mayan civilization, Egypt, all these powerful nations, Babylon, they use that which was around them in nature to heal.
Yes.
And even in the allopathic medicine and even in pharmaceutical, of course, there are many of the healing remedies seen. I mean, look at morphine. Where does it come from? You know, a poppy plant. You know, it's right back to where everything started, from the ground.
Yes.
So why not go straight to the source? I always tell people, go straight to the source.
Yeah.
You know, to get the real deal. And so that is vitally important, that we go back to the original. I feel like if we, and I understand transition, please don't misunderstand me. I mean, even in my field, we understand that there might be time and places, like you said, for pharmaceutical. If a person is very depressed, you might want to suppress certain things first, even before you can cleanse. There might be, you know, certain things that need immediate surgery. I mean, if a person is having an appendix, I probably would suggest you get it out. You know, I mean, there are certain time and place for certain things. I always say that, but prevention is better than prescription, and caution is much better than cure.
Love that.
Yeah.
Such golden nuggets of wisdom. That's so true.
Thank you, Lord. Prevention is better than prescription, and caution better than cure.
Yes, and exactly like you said before, when people say, oh, it's so expensive to eat this way, and, you know, I can't do this and I can't do that. Well, we have to start thinking outside the box too, you know, we have to start thinking about starting to grow our own food, you know, coming together as communities and planting our own food. You know, why are we dependent on a system where, and it's not that expensive, you know what I mean? If we really budget, if you really count like what you're spending on food, you know, each week, you know, I don't know if, you know, there's chips and Coca-Cola and takeout, you know, when I started calculating what I was spending on that kind of food, it adds up, you know, $1 here, $2 there. Well, that dollar could get you a lot of bananas, you know, that $2 could get you some oranges. And we just have to shift our perception as to what is food and what will nourish me. So, you know, we could go all day with a couple bananas, you know, that's food right there. But we think we need, you know, the sausage or the cheese or the bread to nourish us.
Yeah, and again, we are what we eat, true. If you want a board house, you build it out of board. If you want a cement house, you'll build it out of cement. You want a healthy body, you will build it out of healthy food.
Yes.
You want a toxic body, you build it out of toxic and processed food. So we are what we eat. You know, we are what we think too. You know, so indeed, these are very important thoughts that you're sharing. We got a purpose. You know, I like the one verse that had hit me when I was much younger, and it hit home, being it was said by young people, is in Daniel 1:8. Daniel said he purposed in his heart, he and his 3 Hebrew friends, they purposed in their heart that they would not have defiled their body. And I went back into the Hebrew word to look at the word, what it means, to purpose in one's heart. And it's a conscious, determined mindset effort that one's make. It's not easy, to be honest with you. We sometimes this is like a roller coaster with appetite, because it is one of the greatest drive of mankind. You can go without water maybe for days, and maybe go out of things for many days, but food are like one daily necessity. And some people look, if you don't, so you tell somebody to fast away from one meal, and it's like you have put a curse on some people, right? because that is, and the point is that is so powerful our appetite is. So a lot of it has to start in a strong mindset. And having support group, I like the word community, means to come in unity. And if we can have people coming in unity, like what we are doing here, and I'm really, I prayed, I will confess this now, and I'll say it publicly without any apology. I have some things that I put on my prayer list this year. Every year I do it. And one of them was that the Lord expand my territory in this health work and connect me with the right people for the right time. And I really believe, Aline, I don't have any doubt in my heart. Sincerely, I believe that you are an answer prayer already to this early part of my AS journey. I see powerful things happening this year in 2022. That is all I can see, a powerful year to transform a world that is so sick and sick and tired of being sick. So I am looking forward to the work that the good Lord have in store. So do keep me in prayer, right? I need a lot of prayers. I really want to stay focused, and I really want to get the work done that has been appointed and anointed on my life. That's what it boils down to. Yeah.
Thank you so much for saying that. That warms me up with so much, gratitude and joy, because you are the answer to my prayers as well. That's how it works. We're here showing you what, everybody, like how this works, when we do pray, when we do get on our knees, when we surrender and we ask God to guide our way. He brings us who we need to do the work, to do the mission, and to grow in these ways. And, I always say, we just have to follow the breadcrumb trail, the breadcrumb trail that is laid out in front of us. We want to heal the world, but we have to start where we are at, and we have to open up the doors, to conversations like this, to phone calls, to messages. We have to be receptive, open. And when God brings people like this, you just know it. You're like, wow, that was a divine intervention. That was meant to be. And the more we detox, the more we cleanse, I promise you, the more these things happen. Like these things were not really happening in my life before. These synchronicities, these powerful, explosions of friendship and sharing, wanting to share and wanting to serve. Like we're on the same mission. And it's really, really powerful what you're saying, that prayers do get answered. And I'm a firm believer of that. And I know our work here is just getting started. And
let's start with some fruits then.
Let's get started. We could, yes.
I like this one. I saw somebody doing this on Facebook, lol.
I'm the fruit kisser.
I saw somebody doing that on Facebook, but we can be friends. I love watermelon. Actually, it's my second top fruits. Actually, my first one is actually mommy. I love mommy. But next, because of my sweet tooth, I love watermelon. So watermelon is such a powerful fruits, and I want to really educate now, because when I think about watermelon, I think about one of the best food in the world. It's filling. I take about a couple slices of this, and I'm already full because of many reasons. But first and foremost, it has a lot of vitamins, right? It's loaded with vitamin A, it's loaded with vitamin C. Vitamin A is the same thing you find in carrots, for example. And I always smile at God's sense of humor. A lot of the food looks like our organ that are good for them. I was telling a diabetic, she says, what can she substitute for white potato? I said, get sweet potato. I said, did you notice it looks just like your pancreas? It helps with your pancreatic juices. You look at, I did a show the other day on tomato, and I said, the tomato is good for your heart. You cut a tomato hexagonal, it has 4 chambers like your heart. I mean, it's amazing. You look at a pear, it looks just like the woman's womb. It's good for the uterus. I mean, you look at carrots now, you cut it again, in that hexagonal way, it looks like an eye. And it's amazing, you know, the food and its connection between our organs. You know, I have my little friend to the back there. He always with me, you know, my body parts. And when I think about vitamin A, it has been studied and researched and proven that the juices that from your watermelon basically prevents what is called macular degeneration, which is a common thing that is happening. People macula gets degenerated when it age, and all the technological connections start to mess up the eyes, and especially by the retina. And so you need a lot of vitamin A, and this fruit is loaded with vitamin A. So that's one of the first things I would like to make mention of. Also, it's loaded with vitamin C. I mean, who don't want vitamin C right now in this pandemic and all that's going on, and flu and all have you? The stronger your immune system, the more BDF, your body defense force you have, you know, you can fight and win the war easier. So you want that. And also it's loaded with lycopene. This pink coloration in here is lycopene, and lycopene is what you find in the same tomato. You find it in pink grapefruit. You find it in guava. And lycopene is an antioxidant. It's a phytochemical. It's a plant-based chemical that is good, one, for prostate, so it's good for us men. It's also good to lower your risk of heart issues, because what lycopene does, lycopene actually relaxes your arteries as well as open them or dilate them. So some people even suggest that other parts of this plant, including the rind of it, acts like a natural Viagra. Isn't that awesome? Because that's what it does. It actually relaxes and opens your blood vessels. For the heart, which is your pumping organ, which is about circulation again, it's very good for the heart consequently. So that is awesome. It will lower your risk of a heart attack if you can get a slice or a juice every day. Of course, if you're diabetic, you want to be careful of the juice because of the high glycemic index, but I would still promote eating a slice of it because of the high fiber content. Not only, apart from those properties, good properties that I shared, it also has anti-cancer effect. You know, isn't that awesome? You know, your food, your meds, man, your meds, your food. I know it helps with oxidative stress. It helps with inflammatory problems. It helps with kidney health. Do you know this right here is like cranberries? Very good. You get this every day for your you have UTI. Your juices of your watermelon is excellent for your kidneys. So there is so much I could speak on this. I mean, it's also rich in. Did you know that watermelon has a protein? People always question, where will plant-based people get their protein? You will be amazed. It's right in the food. Where did the animal get the protein? Come on, where did a cow get its protein? Where did a horse get its protein? The hippo, the zebra, these are some buff kids, you know. These are the buff animals, and they eat all grass, green, herbivorous animals. To God be the glory. No, God was wise when he made these things and put them there for us and for the animals around us as well. So a protein that is found in watermelon is called citrulline, and it's an amino acid actually, you know, that is loaded, and it helps to move that blood that I was talking about. That property of citrulline is to help move that blood around in your body, and hence it will lower blood pressure as well. Wow. You sound like watermelon and what cure all, Aline. I mean, we are still not finished. I haven't got to the seed as yet. Do you know you can consume even the seed of watermelon? You can blend it, you can juice it, you can roast it. In the States, we used to do roasted watermelon seeds. And it's powerful. The seed on its own has a lot of micronutrients, manganese, magnesium, potassium, copper. And the roasted seed, when you roast it, what you do, you get out that omega-3 fatty acid that is so excellent. Those are very good, heart-friendly fat, protein, potassium, magnesium. I mean, so loaded. And then if I blend all that up with the juice together, guess what? I have one of the top electrolyte juices around. Who needs Pedialyte? And Pedialyte has its place, but this is the natural Pedialyte, girl. I'm telling you, I mean, it's amazing. It's a good recovery drink. I mean, Ooh, I can go on and on. I mean, we could boil the seed. I mean, there is so much with this awesome, wonderful watermelon plant. Isn't that amazing?
I miss
So much
Belize
of it.
watermelon. There's none here. That's why I have my cantaloupe, but I miss those watermelons. They
And
are
like I
so
said,
good,
even when you
juicy.
are finished with eating the watermelon, you can scrape out the rind from it.
Mm.
It's good for sperm count. It's good for sperm mobility. It's good for males, sexual reproductive organ. I am appalled. I'm amazed when the more I have studied fruits and vegetables and what God have left in the creation. He is the all-wise God indeed, and I want to give him glory because
Oh,
he is smarter than we are. He has more gray hair than us, right?
amen. Amen.
Yeah,
Everything in this creation is made so perfect,
indeed,
and is there for
indeed.
us. I literally did 10 days on coconut water and watermelon when I was in Belize
Coconut
one
water and
time.
watermelon,
And I
nice.
am telling you, I was flying. I felt high. I was high on the watermelon.
So how did you do this? How did you prepare it? Tell us a little.
I would juice it, and then sometimes I would have pieces. So I would allow myself to, well, actually I did. No, most of the time I was juicing it. And then towards the end, like towards maybe the 9th or 10th day, then I started eating it.
Did
But I
you
was
put like a little
mostly,
ginger in it too? Have you ever tried watermelon with a little ginger? Just a little ginger, man, that's a
mm,
nice kick.
yum,
That's a powerful anti-inflammatory drink.
so
Powerful.
good.
Yes.
So
And on
good.
that note of anti-inflammatory drink, here is my next baby. Um, Pineapple. You like
Yummy.
pineapple?
Love
Pineapple.
pineapple.
Yes, yes.
Yes,
Stand tall like a pineapple with a crown on the head, right?
so
Go
good.
king and queens, right? But I love pineapple. I mean, tell me something about pineapple. Then I will tell you what I know from a naturopathic perspective.
It's so funny because when we met, I said, you know what? I don't really know the scientific words, but I know what they do to me. So I'm going to talk from my perspective and
Talk to me
my own
about pineapple.
experience. Oh my gosh. So pineapple for me is the ultimate, that is my favorite fruit. If I have to choose one fruit, I love pineapple, especially juicing it, but I love eating it as well. The pineapple is actually a decalcifier of the pineal gland, right? So it's
Mm,
like it opens up the third eye as well. It
mm,
helps us to connect to our intuition. It helps us to, it's a really good detoxifier and puller of mucus and toxins in the body. So when I was doing my juice cleanse, my first big juice cleanse, I was
mhm.
removing mucoid plaque, like thick old
Wow,
waste from my system with
that's
mostly
amazing.
pineapple juice, citrus juice. So those are like
That's
the
a gift.
citrus. Absolutely unbelievable what was coming out of me. It helped me. Yes, I see somebody with the skin. I see, yeah, I see a change in my skin. I see a change in my eyes. um oh my gosh, pineapple has literally helped me come back to life.
I love it. I love
So
it.
many
And
vitamins.
you know what is the key in pineapple? It's a big word, but very powerful word. Bromelain.
Mm,
Bromelain. Pineapple has in a lot of bromelain. And bromelain is like, apart from turmeric, is like one of the number 1 way to fight inflammation. Because that's what bromelain does. It's a natural anti-inflammatory agent. So all these arthritis, pain, and other autoimmune issues, if you would just cut out the causes, which is normally a high protein diet, especially animal-based diet, if you just cut those out, and you start a good 10 days cleansing program with just pineapple. I'm just talking pineapple. Put a little turmeric and a little ginger and do that for 10 days. I have had more, I have so much story to tell of people who had all these inflamed issues at their joints and all these ouches, and they are free from it. So long as they maintain and kept now a fresh way of living, a new lifestyle approach, a comprehensive holistic approach. So this is what we call a proteolytic enzyme, you know, because it breaks down protein. And that's why you see like in the Eastern world, they like to use it after you would eat even meat, because they give you a piece of pineapple 20 minutes after, because what it does, it helps with digestion of the protein. Isn't that amazing? So, and that would aid your digestion too, because a lot of this food sometimes are heavy to digest that people eat. And that's why they would include that. So even folks over there know, even if maybe it's the wrong thing they're eating, they have had ways to utilize these natural things to aid their digestive program. And if you aid your digestion, listen, you're going to increase metabolism. And if you increase metabolism, you're going to increase weight loss. So when you talk about all those mucus pap that is around our midsection in our colon, I mean, that 5-foot part of our body that can get so constipated from the ascending, transverse, descending sigmoid colon, particularly the latter part of that 5 feet, can get so compacted and so clogged up.
Yeah.
It is amazing what a food like pineapple would do. And the reason for this too is because pineapple has 2 fiber in it. It has what we call soluble fiber and it has insoluble fiber. And it's a unique plant because it has both. And that's the blessing of pineapple. The soluble fiber will slow down the digestion for one, and it will also help absorb the nutrients. The insoluble fiber will draw the water into and help add some bulk to your, your whole system. And so what it will do, it will prevent constipation. It's hard for you to eat a couple slices of pineapple and be constipated because it's just the nature of that those fibers that is in it. You see this? This is something I often buy at the health food store. You see what it says there? It has soluble fiber. And if you know anything about coelom horse, if you take a spoon of this and you add it to water, what happens to you? You get sticking quick because it has this bulky expansion about it. But I even use, I sell a colon cleanse here that I make from scratch. And I have my own stuff, bentonite clay, diatomaceous earth, apple pectin, another very good soluble fiber from the apple itself. These are things that I get and I use and I make my concoction and man, you would be surprised. I mean, the amount of bulk that start to get out of you.
Yes.
You wouldn't believe that they are there for years, clogging up your system, clogging up your mind consequently, and clogging up your whole perception on a whole. So like you said, all that intuition, everything is so clear. Not like when you have a clear mind. You know what? Go back to my Hebrews friend. You know what is the testimony of that story in Daniel 1? When these boys requested, they give us some simple diets, give us with fruit, with vegetable and water. That's all they wanted for 10 days. They said, prove us at the end of the 10 days. If you read the rest of Daniel chapter 1, if I'm not mistaken, around verse 16 to 18, it says, the good book says they were 10 times wiser. They were 10 times better looking. So people want to look good. Take off the stuff you're putting on and put in the good stuff inside, and the inside will work on the outside for you. Come on. It is amazing. Even your skin start to have a nice fragrance from these food that are all natural and in nature, because that's natural ways how God intended it for us. We have shifted to a lot of artificial, and we are looking artificial as a result. We are aging so quickly. So, it is so powerful. Pineapple is also filled with what we call manganese, Aline, very good to regulate the metabolism of fat and carbohydrate. So it helps with weight loss as a result, because when people metabolism is enhanced as a result of that procedure there, the manganese that is in it, that will promote those digestion of the carbs and protein, then you don't have a lot of storage that comes with eating a lot of carbs and a lot of protein. And I would want to suggest we start to cut down and when possible cut out a lot of these carbs and protein that are more processed, especially because they are carcinogenic for one, and two, a lot of the refined processed carbs, the white flour, the white sugar, the biscuit and these stuff, they are all, the Coca-Cola will have 16 teaspoons of sugar in one bottle. What all that does is just load your body with a lot of glucose molecules. Now the body is smart because, well, a smart God make it, right? So what the body does, it takes that excessive glucose and it converts it to glycogen in the liver, and then it's stored in your muscles for a time. But when the body cannot deal with that anymore, then it's going to take that excessive sugar and it's going to open a new bank account called fat cells bank account, and it's going to dump those fat in there, and your fat, you're going to get bigger and bigger, and before you know it, you have a tire around your belly, and it becomes a crave because now the body wants it, and you get addictive. It's actually addictive, and then to add to this mess, the manufacturers of many of the packaged food, box and packaged foods, put a lot of artificial chemicals that are addictive, your sucralines and your saccharins and your fructose corn syrup. And what these things does, they will add more misery to your system, because you are putting in something that was never meant for your body. So the body is really confused, and all he can do is try to store it away to try to preserve you. You know, really, I even tell people that cancer cell is a garbage pan. The body is marvelously and wonderfully made. The good psalmist says, I think in Psalms 139, fearfully and wonderfully made. It will do whatever it takes to survive. It's amazing. It will throw things on your skin, you give you some bad temperature, you get some chronic pain, you get inflammation. Whatever it takes to get your attention, it will do. And it's amazing, just amazing. And again, here what? My favorite. I made this morning. Woo! This is not the typical way that they make it in Belize, but I made a tea. I'm telling you, Aline, this is the best drink you can make. I can put some raisin with this or a little sweet like honey, and I boil this for about 10 minutes. This is my best electrolyte drink. When you say I work out or run and I drink this, man, energy like crazy.
You know what's so funny? You sent me that video the other day of you making the video on the news. You on the open your eyes, and you were talking about the pineapple skin. And I just made a video the week before that with the same thing. And I said that, I said, you know, in Belize, this is what we do. I said, there's two ways of doing it. You know, either we leave it in the water to ferment, or we could boil it. I said, if, you know, the pineapple is organic, you could boil it and then you make a tea out of that. So like, we're totally on the same vibration. I mean, I don't know a lot of people who do that.
Yeah, you don't let anything waste. There's so much things in the skin. And that's why we have to be careful of chemicalized and GMOs and all have you. It's better, like you said, we got to get back to basic and grow our own food, because what happens, the way how nature was made, is everything is already packed. We don't need to go and open a pack, you know. Everything that the peanuts has its package. All the fruits have a covering. It's already packed for you. You just got to peel and eat. Sometimes you can even eat the skin, like when you do grapes and apple. Those are added benefit. So what happened in the skin, you have your manganese, you have your magnesium, you have your potassium. There's all these micronutrients that makes it an excellent electrolyte drink. And I put a little raisin, because raisins have a lot of energy. And I'm telling you, Aline, I am not exaggerating. This is one of my nicest drink on earth for energy, for recovery from workout. I mean, it is the best.
So good. Oh, wow. You're teaching us so much. A lot of people on the Facebook Live saying thank you. Elizabeth Shaw says thanks for the knowledge. Blessings to both of you for sharing. From Cyrilla.
Yeah, Cyrilla Bilan, that's my friend.
So many of your friends are on right now watching. I see Robbie, I see Joseph. So many of my friends, Julia, Christy, Dana. So many people. Thank you so much, everybody, for coming on. This is so interesting. And, you know, life-saving information, because it's like, health is simple, you know, and we have to trust our body. We have to trust our body that it knows what it wants to do. So when we do get a diagnosis like cancer or diabetes, don't freak out, but take action to give your body the chance to come back to homeostasis, to come back to balance. You don't, you know, you don't need the pills. You don't need any of their interventions. You need to go back to nature, and you need to humble yourself to make the changes. You know, that's really what it takes. And at the end of the day, you were talking about mindset. And with that, I will add a whole lot of humility, a whole lot of humility.
So connecting, because I was going to hit that right there. It's about really humbling ourselves.
Yes, we have to.
You have to.
You have to. You're not going to make it if you don't humble yourself.
Yeah, when you're in a dying bed, it's not time to let I in the middle of pride take over. You know, that's the problem with pride, right? The middle of the word pride is I, P-R-I-D-E. It's centralized. When you are, and that's why the good book says before a fall comes pride, because when you focus on yourself, like Peter, when he was walking on the water, he is so caught up with himself and he sank. And many of us fall when we get caught up with pride. You gotta humble ourselves. So people say, who are you for telling me this? You know, I'm a medical doctor. People ask me all kind of stuff, and they have it with attitude and arrogance. And I say, you know, I'm just one here to serve. I just want to be a servant, and I hope that you can one day receive this message and hopefully apply it, because, you know, changes has to start in the mind, Aline. I mean, if we don't change our mind, let this mind be in you, which was in your Savior. You know, when I thought about that verse, one day I went to Matthew 9 and the work that Christ did on this earth, because we're a very religious, westernized world, so I can talk this language. The good book says, I think in Matthew 9:35, that he went around all the villages, healing all the diseases, teaching, preaching. He did more healing. His fame, the Bible said, went up because I believe if Jesus was alive physically in flesh on this earth, he would be flying around dealing with this pandemic. The pandemic would have been killing people, I can assure you. If he could have touched the leper, which was the most deadly communicable disease back then. Leprosy was a disease that you would have to stay from yards and miles probably, or feet away, and holler unclean, unclean. It was so contagious and so contaminated in the air. Yet Jesus had the compassion. He came with passion and would touch the leper and heal. And I always ask God that I want to reach a stage when, especially when I look at my clients like diabetic foot ulcers and stuff, I say one day I just want to just give them the right food and just touch that foot and see completely heal overnight. Man, you know what kind of power that is? And I really believe it's available. We just got to keep surrendering, humble ourselves, and I believe God will do great and mighty things through those who choose to humble themselves. Wow. And so I just had to tap into that thought process because we are synchronizing there, because as you said, it was there. Pride, we got to let go of pride. And it's a hard thing, you know, because it's our human nature. And even the enemy as soul, that's his fault. That's why we have all this problem. Pride took over. He wanted to be like God and want to be a God himself. And that's the mess we are in. That's the mess we are in. So we got to humble ourselves, indeed.
And I love it. Yes. And we also have like so much influence from the outside, right? From our families, from our partners, from so many people. So the mindset is so important. The connection that we have with our, you know, higher power, our God, is so important, because we have to brave through this like Babylon of a society, this death culture, you know, let's just call it what it is. We are living in a death culture that promotes alcohol, that promotes eating flesh, you know, dead animals. We promote dairy, which is like, if you look into that, if you just look at, you know, there's so many documentaries now on Netflix, from like Cowspiracy to well, What the Health is, What the Health is a vegan one, What the Health, Cowspiracy, Earthlings. Once we start to connect what's really happening in this animal industry and the death that goes, the cult, the violence, the horror that basically we are consuming, the antibiotics too that we are consuming from these animals, right? Because these animals are injected with so much antibiotics. Like these farm animals are very sick.
They say you want to trace evil, always trace the money. It's all money making. Even the whole milk industry thing. I always tell people we are one of the strangest set of creatures on earth. A cow drinks cows, a calf drinks cow milk, you know. A kitten will go and drink cat milk. You never see a cat come and suck an adult milk. Right. Or a tiger go and do a zebra. Right. We are the ones made in the very image of God, you know. We are the ones who practice folly. We go and drink the milk of another animal that was meant for a stronger animal. You know, the truth is a lot of the type 1 diabetics are caused by early milk take, because milk has encasing, which is the thing they make glue out of. It is sticky mucus forming. It's the cause of all diseases, mucus. And that thing is not good for your body. That's why a lot of us have intolerance to it, because our body rejects it. It doesn't want it. Some people can withstand it, because some people apparently build with drunk belly. But God forbid, you know, that you put casein and mucus, and when that goes into your body, the body is so confused that it, you know, it's a misidentity too, because the casein looks like your beta cells, which are the ones in the pancreas that produces insulin, and especially if you have what you call leaky gut syndromes, whereby your stomach have been so compromised and abused for years that the casein doesn't even break down. It goes straight into the bloodstream, straight into the system, and the police, the BDF in the body defense force, the phagocytes, the lymphocytes, everybody just say, what's that? Attack. Not knowing it's attacking your own cells, and you have what you call an autoimmune disease. So type 1 diabetics that's one of the cause. And I say without any apology, it is one of the cause of type 1 diabetics. A lot of these type 1 diabetics is from a lot of mucus forming food. cheese and milk and stuff that was never meant for human consumption.
Mhm.
And I know this is a war I have with a lot of my clients when I have to tell them, man, just do an alternative milk if we really think we need to do milk. Yeah, a lot of things out there. You have rice milk, coconut milk, you have almond milk. There's a lot of alternatives, soy milk, whatever you want to choose if you really think you need milk. But you cannot want to get mucus out of your system, deal it inflammatory issues and arthritic issue and autoimmune issue and still put the mess. It doesn't make sense. I can mop up this floor if it's dirty, but I can have the best mop, but tomorrow you come back in with the same dirty shoes, it's going to get dirty again. Yeah. So again, it's a lifestyle change, and that's the harder part, but all things is possible with the Almighty. All things is possible with him if we really want to surrender and allow him to work in us.
Yes. Well, everybody who's here, everybody who's tuning in, you know, whether live or on the replay or whatever on YouTube, like, just know that if you're here, it's because you are being called to this, you know, information. You're being called to understand this on a level, and maybe it's like a seed that's being planted, right? Like, people sometimes take some time to make the changes. I sure did. I did not. It was not a straight line for me. You know, I just want to put it out there that I did not just wake up one day and, like, it's been years and years of, you know, seeds being planted and me seeking, you know, we're seekers. We're here to, we're looking for how to be happier, how to be more abundant, how to be healthier. And then in the face of, you know, receiving that information, it's about, what are we going to do with that? How am I going to apply this to my day-to-day life? And maybe it's not so much like, you know, taking the leap per se, but making those changes. For example, like what I like to tell my friends is that, you know, breakfast, for example, that's a huge misconception that we need a huge breakfast. You know, that's part of the programming. That's part of the industry to indoctrinate us and keep us sick. You know, breakfast is meant to be still a detoxification period. We're supposed to have fasting or juicing if you're going to have something.
The word sticks with its name, breakfast. It's a break from a fast. So if we hadn't eat a lot in the night, we wouldn't have those issues in the morning with our stomach. We wouldn't have those drive. I like it. Talking about stomach then, I think we should do one more. I see it's almost 11 and we want to keep this at least an hour.
Sounds good. Let's do the papaya. And we will do this again, you guys. Like, we will come back and do this again. This is the first time. So
we have a lot to share. I want to do one of just our vitamin C based food, but we'll do that another time. But papaya, I love papaya too. I don't crave like I would like my pineapple, watermelon, and my mommy, but papaya is such a wonderful plant. It has another proteolytic enzyme called papain. And I like to say that the pap for pain. That's how I say it, the papain. He is the father for pain. I mean, this is what you find in meat tenderizer, for example. And these people know something because it again can work on protein. And that would have been whether it's plant or animal protein. It helps to break down protein into amino acids. So if you're in the vegan and vegetarianism and you're doing things like your seeds or certain nuts, if you would eat maybe 20 minutes before eating those heavier food that are harder to break down, which are most protein and carbs and fat, and you do your micronutrients, which would be like your fruits. You do a fruit salad 20 minutes before doing those. You prepare the body to have the proper necessary enzyme to break down your macromolecules, which are more your fats, carbs, and your protein. And food combination is a whole other topic. We'd have to take another hour to talk about that, but I'm generalizing so you can get an idea of papaya itself and what it has. So papaya has in papain, it has in a thing called, it actually has two digestive enzymes. Most people don't know this, they only know about papain, but it has in another cousin to papain that is called cymopapain. And these are what we call, like I said, protease. What they do, they digest protein, break it down into amino acids, which are your essential building block for muscle building. And that also means that if you can break down the food so quickly and readily, then it is easier absorbed into your system. You have better absorption, better digestion, and then you will reduce a lot of this pain and inflammation and bloating, and that comes with, you see, when we don't follow the way the Creator made the body to function, again, the body attack to him. When I listen, my granny said, "Hardest picnic go to market 2 times. Your guy, you pull your ears, right? You get pain. You get pain, and pain and inflammation is a common thing I see in my work. Everybody have pain, inflammation, poor circulation. We are what we eat. Once we learn the concept and reverse that, I really believe we are on to health and healthful living. And the Papaya, actually, talking about supplements or pharmaceutical, a lot of the OTC, over-the-counter drugs, the papain is the main ingredients in it. It's not amazing. They extract the papain. What they do, the papaya, if you have, this one is semi-green and I got it intentional. When the papaya is like almost turning and you cut it, there's that oozing out. There is a white oozing material, or even if you break like a leaf or you cut the bark, that ooze. Do you know that's where these scientists get their papain from? They extract it, they put it in a capsule, they put it in their pills, and they are selling you something for your stomach, and you feel like, oh, what? This thing, the work, but you don't even know that we're really the work. It is actually that which was in nature first and foremost, and that's amazing, no? So that ooze that they get, and then the papain also it blocks the growth of harmful gut bacteria, because you have your flora and fauna in your stomach. So what it does, it will maintain a healthy microbiome in your stomach. Now you have good gut and intestinal environment, because you don't want to have your bad guys overcoming your good guys. No, you want to have the good guys overcome the bad guys. They say overcome bad with good, right? So that's important. So I just wanted to close with papaya, since we were talking about anti-inflammatory substances that we can find in plant-based plant food, especially in this case, we are dealing fruits as our highlights this morning. And papain is just an amazing, it's the father of pain. It's going to conquer that pain if you get it in. And I like people who have stomach ulcer and bloating and burping and indigestion problem. If you would just get your stomach rest for one day, do a fasting a couple of days, because sometimes our body want to rest, but we're so anxious, we're so depressed, we're so stressed, and that psychologically tells us, well, you need emotional eating disorder at this time, so we start to eat X, Y, and Z. What we do, we create more problem rather than so, because the taste is pleasant in the mouth, but when it gets down there, it's like what Dan Revelation 10 had said, no, it's sweet in the mouth, but bitter in the stomach, right? Literally, there's a verse like that in the Bible. No, it has prophetic meaning that happened sometime in the 18th century, but what is true about that thought, if I look at it from a medical missionary perspective, that very verse, it's sweet in the mouth and nice, but it gets sour and fermented and bitter in the stomach. And that brings a thought to my mind, my good sis. One of my favorite verses in the Bible is Proverbs 17:22. It says, a merry heart do it like good medicine, but a broken spirit dries up the bone. Whenever your stomach gets peptic and sour, your mind will get sour too. And whenever your mind gets sour, your stomach will get sour too. They synchronize and sympathizes with each other. This is why we have to also have positive thinking. So it's not just what we are eating that is killing us out, but what is really eating us out is sometimes how we think. And we have to change our thoughts. I go back to what I was saying, let this mind be. You say, be not confirmed, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. This cerebrum, which is at the frontal lobe here, the frontal lobe at your cerebrum, that's the mind place where the indwelling power of God wants to dwell, and the positivity and everything. There is a war to take it over with negativity every day. And it's a constant battle, Aline, to put good, take out bad. We are talking food-wise, but I'm also talking what we feed our mind with as well. As these things connect, and it's very important we make the connection one time. You cannot be thinking negative, and try to eat good, because there will be a collision eventually. We have to renew mind, body, and soul. And so we call it holistic healing. Holistic healing.
Wow. So much greatness. It's all interconnected. I think that's so important what you're saying. And I really want to stress the importance of the food affecting our mind. It's like we can create new patterns every day of our life. There was something else I wanted to touch on, so much else, man. We're going to have to come back here and do this again soon, because this was so powerful and so good. But really our state of our mind is dependent on the foods we eat. If we're eating electric foods and our digestion is on point, that's what I wanted to say. The main thing that I'm hearing from you as well is alkalizing the body and the digestion system. If your digestive system is on point, it's going to help everything, right? Like mind, body, like everything is connected. But the main thing is like getting enough fiber, you know, getting those fruits in, getting that psyllium husk, even if it's a teaspoon. I love that you talk about diatomaceous earth. You know, not a lot of people know about these things. Diatomaceous earth, psyllium husk, maybe some flax seeds, some chia seeds. We could find those too in Belize. A little chia seed pudding, and start making some replacements to focus on the digestion, you know, the flowing and the elimination. So once we're eliminating better, then that's the first key, right? We want to start eliminating. We want to start getting the old waste out. And for that, yeah, we have to stop eating the animal products. It takes like, what, 3 days to eliminate a piece of meat. So if you're compounding a piece of meat on top of a piece of meat, and then a chunk of bread, and then a piece of cheese, like that stuff is staying really stuck in the system. So it's really important that we allow the body to detox. So, you know, if you do want to have some cooked foods, like maybe have it, you know, once a day, and have the rest of the food like as much raw as possible, you know, more fresh fruits, more fresh veggies. We really don't need to cook our food that much, you know, if at all. I'm completely raw. For those who don't know me, I don't eat any cooked foods at all anymore. I've transitioned to a fully raw lifestyle. So it's completely possible to do it and to be thriving on natural fresh fruits that just grow on the trees, right? But in transition to that, if that's something that you aspire to do, it's okay to have some cooked foods. And again, you know, there's different kinds of cooked foods that are more better and less constrictive, less mucus forming. So if any of you are more interested, you know, reach out to Dr. Marfield, reach out to me as well. How can people find you? Tell us a little bit where you are in Belize, if they want a protocol, how can they contact you?
Right. So as a naturopath, we are also trained in nutritional counseling. So I do a lot of meal plans here, right? This is my diabetic office, and also my naturopathic services that are offered here. And I am right behind the Election and Boundary Building in Belmont. And I'm 2 buildings behind Angela's Press, I'm adjacent to Belize Bank in the nation's capital. And I'm open Monday to Fridays. Sometimes I do emergency work on weekend, but I'm generally open Monday to Friday, like around 9 to 5 p.m. in the evening. And my contact information is 625-4231, 625-4231. I've been on Facebook from the onset of Facebook. I mean, I remember somebody say, "You got to revolutionize Facebook," you know, and I received that. And I said, I want to take Facebook at another level. It's not just putting up some picture or selfie, but I have deeper purpose behind my Facebook, and God knows. And so I'm purpose driven when it comes to my daily posts. One of my good friends says, say, visit daily, see clearly on your post, right? I like how you said that, right? But it's true. I intend for people to visit daily and see clearly, because where there's no vision, the people will perish, and where there is vision, the people will flourish. Are you still with me, sister? So, you know, we got to open the eyes of people and really let people know that there is a plan. And yeah, the ear, I like that. Come on, you share that with me too, right? You got to open the eyes and the ears so that people can see and hear properly. And I hope we don't have any deaf ears nor blind eyes this morning, because I really believe the time has come in. And I can't ever so thank you for allowing me and giving me this privilege. You don't know what you're doing to my personal life right now, because I always wanted to get the information out in whatever way I can. And that's just what I love. I'm a sharing, caring person by nature, by personality and charisma and everything. So if you lock me up, I feel like a prisoner. I feel wild and free as we speak. I am saying that with all my heart. I feel good. I mean, my digestion is working so properly right now because my mind is so contented. I have a peace of mind in what I'm doing. So yes, you know, visit me at Cornelio Health Vision Marfield. That's my Facebook. I have a Cornelio Marfield Instagram. I try to use every conceivable thing. I have Telegram. I have my WhatsApp. You visit them, you visit every day, you go to see clearly. I I'm purpose driven for this health work. And I really believe it's anointed and appointed by God. And I'm so happy he looks at me, the worst, I always tell him the chief of sinner and the worst of the worst, and he chose me. I feel privileged, man. I'm truly a child of the Most High God.
That's who he chooses. He chooses his misfits. He chooses the
Right?
rebels. He chooses the black sheep of the family, right? And the ones that have pure hearts, beyond what we've done in our life, beyond all the mistakes and all the crap. And I could go on about what I've done that was not so, that I'm not so proud of, but beyond that, I've always felt called. I love how you talk about being purpose driven. I've always felt too that there's a mission in my heart, right? And I think we all have that on a certain level. We all have this mission inside, what we were born to do, but we've forgotten who we are. We've forgotten because we did what this one wanted, or we went to school because that one wanted, or we've molded ourselves. So I really encourage everybody to just get inspired by Dr. Marfield's journey and by his dedication to serving the Lord. When we serve God, then miracles start to happen, abundance starts to come in, we start helping people, and that's what we're here to do. Brothers and sisters, we are here to help ourselves and help heal the world. That's it. We're here to help each other in whatever way we can. If that means writing, if that means making a movie, if that means making music, painting a picture, we all have our way of expressing ourselves. So let's tap into that and get inspired, get healthy. The healthier we are too, the more we can expand in our consciousness, the more, if we're not dealing with physical pains, physical discomforts, then imagine all that we could do, right? Sometimes we're so stuck in our physical body that we can't even be the spiritual self, or we can't really even sit down to pray. It hurts, or we have to take care of our sacred temple, because this is the temple of God. And when we take good care of it, God rewards us in so many ways, because we are the living gods. He is in us. We all have this inner God in us. So when we treat ourselves with love and respect, and we remember that we are kings and queens, that's the name of our community, is Kings and Queens of Ra, because it's all about remembering that we are divine beings, that we are supreme, powerful,
royal priesthoods.
Royal. Yes, we are not small. We play small because we have been traumatized, because we have been put down. We play small, but we are really big and we are really powerful.
Love it. I love it.
This is coming from
what a way to end.
Little old me.
Powerful, really powerful.
Thank you so much from the bottom of my heart for sharing your knowledge, for putting yourself out there, for risking it all for, humanity and for our planet, for our animals. And one person at a time, we do heal the world. Each person who heals the world. Each person who heals has that much more impact on the world. So,
and we will put this on YouTube too. So
absolutely,
we get it out there again. So
yes.
Again, thanks again, Aline. It's really been a pleasure, a blessing, a privilege, man. I feel so honored to be on your show this morning.
Thank you so much. I look forward to doing this again with you very soon.
We
got to talk about the mango.
Yeah, I got
and the orange.
And grapes and all. Have you back made the banana?
Let us see your nice display real quick before we go, because I know
I had some grapes that we were going to talk about.
Yes.
And of course, our famous oranges, And well, I like apple banana. These are a little too ripened, but I love apple banana. And there's some other stuff, but we will be back.
That's just a preview, everybody, of what's to come.
We haven't even touched the other powerful food that are available for us. The spirulina, the coralina, the moringa, even touched that. All of these stuff are super powerful food. Turmeric, there's so much thing out there. The sea moss. We got a lot to share, and we will share by God's grace.
We'll do a whole other one just on those superfoods and those super green algae, because they're super powerful. Well, the banana, real quick, just the bananas. When you do eat bananas, it's good that they're too ripe. Don't eat I wanted to show these. This is not ready. You want to eat bananas when they're really ripe and they have brown spots on them. These might actually hurt your stomach. So a lot of people say, banana hurt my stomach, but just have them really ripe. That's just a little 2 cents I wanted to put in before we end.
Awesome.
So much love to you. So much love to everybody
Likewise.
who came on and who shared this sacred space with us. We love you all, and we will see you very soon.
Blessings.
Much
Take care.
love. Bye.
Thank you.